All right, you guys. So we are on page 6 of our notes. Page 6. Last time we talked about fractions and decimals. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. Then we talked about those unique cases. Again, not too bad. We are going to continue with this idea of equations. Okay, equations aren't going away anytime soon. How we go about solving equations is going to apply to more complex things that we're going to be working with. But what we're going to do is we're going to zero in onto more complex equations. And so here it is. If I was to give you a question that looked like this, don't write this down yet. -7 minus 4b equals -2. Right? How we would go about solving this problem is I always ask these questions. I go, hey, where is our problem? And hopefully most of us go, hey, there's my problem. Well, then we go, hey, what's the easiest thing to take care of? Well, that would be that -7, right? So we would add the 7. And then you would divide by the -4, right? Pretty straightforward. Okay, and so go ahead, write this question down. We're not going to solve this question because we're going to add a little bit to it. We are going to add this -9b to our problem. Now, this doesn't really make it a whole lot more complex. It's just one additional step, okay? It's not too bad. But now the thing is, now how I've been teaching you guys is this. Go straight to our problem. Well, there's our problem. It's on both sides, right? Where do we go to? What's our first objective, right? And so I want to give you guys a couple steps on how we should solve every equation for the rest of our life, okay? And so here it is, step number 1. What I want you guys to do is obviously looking at both sides of our equation because we know it's one expression equal to another. I want you guys to do this, simplify both the left / right sides of our equations. Okay, so go ahead, write that down. I want you to simplify both the left and right side of our equation. Now, that does not mean, I want to stress this, that does not mean shifting things left and right. Okay, that's not actually the work of solving it. What we do is we look at this question. So here's my question. -7 minus 4b, that's my left side. Can we simplify that left side? And hopefully the correct answer, you guys all know, is no. We can't combine like terms. We can't distribute. We can't do anything there. So then go to the right side. Can we simplify? Can we combine like terms? Can we distribute? Can we do anything like that? And the answer is no. So what we have done is we can skip over number 1. Hey, we have simplified both sides. We are good to go. Number 2, okay, step number 2. Once you have simplified it as far down as possible, right? We want to make things as easy as possible once we start doing this. We ask this question, right? We go back to this, hey, there's problems on both sides. Okay, there's problems on both sides. How do we deal with that? And the way we deal with this is we get our variables to one side of the equation. Okay, this is what we do. So we look at this problem here and we see that we have 1, we've simplified. 2, we now need to get both this -4b or this -9b from one side or to the other, right? And the question is, how do we go about doing this? And what we do here is I'm going to choose a different color. Let's do purple. What we do is we add or subtract the variables to both sides, okay? And so I'm going to put this little star here, by addition, by adding or subtracting. I don't need that. I need that comma there. By adding or subtraction, right? And so here we go. And so what I like to do personally, I like to keep things positive. I like to keep things positive. So if I was to add this 4b to this side right here, -9 plus 4 is still going to be negative, right? That'll be -5. If I add 9b to this side over here, that would be positive. And so I like to, my personal opinion, I like to keep things positive if possible. So right here, step number 2, I'm going to go like this, plus 9b. Now, I want to make this very clear. You need to write this 9b, because if we just write 9, we can't really add these things together, right? Because this has a variable and this has a variable and this doesn't. And so we need to ensure that we are adding 9b to both sides. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. So we're going to plus 9b to this side. And so what I like to do, you guys notice I draw this line. Something new is our equation is going to look new. It's going to look different. And so now we will have this, right? So we know these are going to eliminate, zero out. And so we're going to be left with this -7 plus 5b, right? If you guys struggle with this, let's just double check. -4 plus 9, that's our 5, right? Is equal to -2 now. Right? And so now we are left with this very simple two-step equation, right? And so what I'm going to put, like, if you do this 3 steps right here, 3 steps, if you simplify, you get your variables to one side, all you need to do now is solve the two-step equation. Every time, if you do this every single time like this, every single problem will be broken down into a simple two-step equation. And hopefully these two-step equations are the things that we can start to do in our head. We're going to get more confident at these, right? And so all you have to do, let's use the blue, teal. I'm going to add the 7 plus the 7 to both sides right here. We know those will zero out. We're left with 5b equals, here we go, 5. Divide by the 5, divide by the 5. We're going to be left with b equals 1. And that's going to be my answer, right? If you do this every single time, if you do it just like this, these 3 steps, if you do these 3 steps right here, and I mean, I'm making it very simple, okay? But you simplify the left. Don't worry about the right side. Just simplify, combine like terms, distribute, all that good stuff. Do that to the right side. Then if you get your variables to one side or the other, right, by adding or subtracting, you will always have a two-step equation after that. And that's something you guys can hopefully start to do in your heads, right? So here it is. Let's do another example here, and hopefully this isn't too bad. So let's do kind of a green. So here it is, -7y minus 3 is equal to 15 minus 4y. Easy. All right. So again, here we go. Step number 1, I will simplify both the left and right sides of our equation. Well, if we just zero in here, can't do anything to the side. We can't combine like terms. We can't distribute. We can't do anything. So don't worry about that. Go to the other side. Can't do anything over here. 15 and -4y, they can't be combined. So now, boom, we're past number 1. Number 2, get our variables to one side of the equation, all right, by adding or subtracting. So again, what I like to do is I like to keep things positive. So if I was to add this 7y to over here, that would make it positive. If I add 4 right here, that would be a negative number, and I don't want that. And so you can add or subtract them to either side. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to go like this, plus 7y plus 7y. And again, make sure that y is attached to there. Get something new. These are going to zero out. We're going to be left with -3 is equal to 15 plus 3y. Right? So far, so good. Again, if you guys struggle with those negatives, -4 plus 7, right? Boom, there it is. And then we're right there. We're at that final step. Solve the two-step equation. Easy. So we're going to minus the 15, minus the 15. We're going to be equal to, those zero out. -18 is equal to 3y. And so here it is. We divide by 3, and we're going to be left with y is equal to 18 divided by -3. You guys struggle with that? There it is, divided by 3 equals -6. Okay, so there it is. Okay, pretty straightforward. So now let's just do one more example, and we are done. And so where is my example? Here it is. Okay, last one. And we are done. 3 examples. That's pretty fair. -91 plus 21b is equal to 7 parentheses 6b minus 1. Here it is. So I'm going through these. I like to go through these steps. Okay. I always ask myself the same questions over and over. Okay. How you should solve equations from now on forever. Simplify both the left and right side of our equation. So let's look in here. Let's only focus on the left side. Can we simplify this right here? And the answer is no, we can't do anything to that. Well, can we do anything to this? And the answer is yes. Yeah, we can distribute. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're not going to do anything to this left side. Negative 91 plus 21b is equal to 7 times 6. 7 times 6 is going to be 42. 42b minus 1 is minus 7, right? So we distributed this. And now, are we done simplifying this side? Can we do anything else to it? And the answer is no. So now we've simplified, right? So this is the idea of simplifying. The question is, get our variables to one side of the equation by adding or subtracting. So now let's look at this. We have this new equation, right? Something new. I'm going to minus the 21b. Minus the 21b. Now I'm going to subtract the 21b because if I do 42 minus 21, that's going to stay positive. So I'm going to go right there. Negative 91 is equal to, because those are eliminated, is equal to 21b minus 7. And so now we're at this point. Hey, life is good. So we're at this two-step equation. So we add the 7. We add the 7 to both sides here. So we're going to type this into our calculator. Negative 91 plus 7 is going to be, hey, negative 84. Negative 84 is equal to 21b. We go ahead, divide by 21, divide by 21. We get something new. Negative 84 divided by 21 is going to be negative 4. So we're left with b is equal to negative 4. And that's our answer, right? It's that simple, that simple. So three good examples there. And so from now on, when you guys solve any equation, do it in these steps. Number 1, simplify the left and right side. And if you can't, awesome. Okay. Moving on. Step number 2, get your variables to one side. I like to keep things positive. That's just me personally. Okay. And you do that by adding or subtracting those variables. And lastly, we solve the two-step equation. And if you guys look at this, even that crazy example that we did right there, we have a two-step equation. Maybe not something we can necessarily do in our head, but that's not too bad. All right. So there it is. Good luck to you guys.